Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So today we're going to talk about the 90s, at least a little bit. We're going to have to do that because it appears that former President Trump has come up with a plan to help the GOP win the midterms. And it comes from the 90s. He has reportedly been talking to Newt Gingrich, a name you probably haven't heard in a while. Gingrich was responsible for something called the Contract with America. And it was basically a party platform full of a bunch of little things that they honestly didn't care about actually getting enacted anyway. But it was something that allowed voters to vote for something rather than against something. And it appears as though Trump has enlisted him to help create a Trumpism version of the Contract with America. It should be noted that the Contract with America is kind of credited for giving Republicans a pretty decisive victory in 1994. Trump understands the political landscape right now. He knows that if the GOP does not do well in the midterms, specifically his candidates, if they don't do well, he's done. The Trump legacy ceases to be. However, if they do succeed, well, he'll be back, or his heir will be back, and he will have continued sway over the Republican Party. This poses a lot of problems for Democrats because overall, sure, Biden's not Trump. That's voting against something. And Biden is doing a relatively decent job of piecemealing a lot of little policies through that are appealing to the center, which is what he planned to do. And occasionally he throws something out for those that are a little bit more on the American left side of the political spectrum. But if he doesn't really deliver on major legislation between now and then, it's a concern. The Democratic Party is going to have to respond to a contract with America coming from Trump. They have to have a plan. It is, when you're talking about somebody like Trump, sure, it's easy to motivate a group of people to vote against him. And let's be honest, that's a large part of how Biden got in office. But when you're talking about the midterms, and you are talking about a group of people who appear to have a plan, even if you go back and look, historically, the Contract with America didn't actually do too well. They didn't get most of it enacted. A lot of it got vetoed. It didn't actually do too well. And even the stuff that did get enacted was stuff like, hey, we're not going to give teen moms welfare. Not stuff that would go well today. But that idea of uniting somebody, or uniting a group of voters behind voting for something, rather than just against Biden. If they can do that, because they already have that base that is energized to oppose Biden no matter what he does, if they can peel off some of the center with a platform of some kind, it might be pretty effective. The biggest liability to it is Trump himself, to be honest, because he's not known for sticking to talking points or platforms or policy even. But this is a concern, and it is something that the Democratic Party has to begin getting ready to deal with now. There is a little debate over how successful it was in '94, but not much. Most people will say that it had a lot to do with that decisive victory. If Trump gets one, the Republican Party is his. The midterms are a chance to truly root out Trumpism. If it doesn't happen, we're going to be stuck with it for a while. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.